Hey guys, Magnus here, bringing you another video. As always, for Tapped Out, this is my ranked Mr. Burns costumes. Now, I won't first of all, right off the bat, I know the mic quality may be a tad bad, because I'm having to place my mic onto my computer, which is a bit unfortunate, just because the lead for my mic is broken, and I'm going to need to buy a new lead to actually go into my mic, which is a bit annoying, because they're about £6-7, and right now I'm trying to save money, so it's a bit of a pain. But I shall do that, and so I can move my mic off my computer, and you won't get that horrible little buzzy sound. Well, it's not really a buzz; it's more that it's just the fan. Second off the bat, I wanted to just quickly give a shout out. You didn't ask me for a shout out or anything. I don't tend to like to do shout outs that much, mainly because honestly, well, I like everyone supporting each other, but sometimes when you do loads and loads of shout outs, you just seem like you're kind of plaster yourself as a good cat. But, anyway, just moving on. I used to do shout outs all the time. I mean, they're a nice thing to do, but I'm not gonna be I don't particularly like people asking for shout outs all the time. But I'm gonna give a shout out to Ted 2001. I shall leave his channel in the description. He's another tapped out YouTuber. He has been commenting on my videos. I didn't really watch. I have so many little tapped out YouTubers tell me to watch them. I tried to actually watch them, everyone, but I didn't watch him at first, and then I eventually went and saw his channel, and he's got some good quality stuff in there. He does a bit of a different format. He's done some giveaways and stuff as well. So obviously he records his screen like most tapped out YouTubers do. Obviously I don't do that. Yeah. So if you want to check him out, I guess he'd appreciate that. Like I said, he's got what, 72 subs. He does deserve more. So go check him out if you're feeling generous. And yeah. Anyway, moving on. Sorry about that whole rambling on. So we're gonna get into the costumes now. Right. So number 9. There's 9 costumes for Mr. Burns. So Mr. Burns has a lot of costumes over the time of his span of tapped out. So we'll go through it. So number 9, I've gone with White Witch Burns. Now basically, the reason I chose this one as the least worst is honestly it's a very it was one of those kind of forced one. It was in the Christmas update, and it felt like just another forced kind of filler prize. And honestly, it's not like it's nothing special really. It's just Mr. Burns looking like a princess really, or like, well, a witch. The tasks in it are very bland. There's not much in them, and the quest line isn't very good either. And honestly, I think it's out of all of them, it would probably be the least one I prefer to all of them. It doesn't look very good either, and honestly, it kind of makes him a little gay, and I'm not, I don't like to, judge, but I just don't think Mr. Burns, he doesn't go that way. So it was a bit. I just don't particularly like the costume. Anyway, number 8 is Ebenezer Burns. Again, this is the same reason. It's just another kind of forced one. Him being Scrooge and all that. I like it. I like the idea because he really is. The character is based off Scrooge. I mean, that's what the character is based off, really. Let's be honest, because he's this rich, arsehole who has a bunch of power, and he decides to, to hell with the poor, and really cares for himself, and that's what Mr. Burns is. So it was kind of cool to get an Ebenezer Burns costume. However, for me, it's just not enough. I want more than that. The quest line is okay. I mean, it's not amazing, really. It's okay. I say okay. Again, it's just really a filler thing, and yeah, I'm not too keen on it. Both of those were 2 Christmas filler costumes, and yeah, didn't really like them. I guess we'll be getting another Mr. Burns costumes next year. Look forward to that. So the next costume is actually Monty Moneybags. Now this is the costume that came with the Money Mountain. It was a thing. Obviously, you had to upgrade it, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, the costume is cool to get as a little prize at the end after completing it, But it's the exact same thing as the tree hugging Lisa one. It's just a crappy little prize that they kind of give to at the end of it to make it look like it was all worthwhile. But really, it's not that amazing. I mean, it's cooler than the other two. I give it that. But and it is from a rememberable episode. The whole "See My Vest" song. You know, I like that. But for a start, he only really wears it for a little bit anyway. It's not like the costume itself is that memorable. I think the most memorable thing is the song. The quests, the tasks in it are pretty cool, but the quest line was actually alright because you obviously had to build up the thing. But yeah, I've got just in terms, it really comes down to how the costume looks to me, and that's why it's sort of down here. The next costume on my list is number 29. Obviously, this is Mr. Burns' Stonecutter's costume. Now, you know, I have a sort of I always try to sort of like justify the Stonecutter costumes because to me, like at first glance, I would say that it was like the worst one because it doesn't look anything. It looks no different to the other Stonecutter costumes. I think that's just the nature of the episode and the nature of the cult, if you want. But you know, it's got some cool tasks in there, and that's the reason that the Stonecutter costumes are a little bit higher, and the whole Stonecutter update was pretty good. It's because although it was mainly centered around these costumes, the costumes themselves have actually got some pretty cool stuff in them. So you know, I put that one there. I'm pretty sure this one was free as well, so that kind of ups it to the other costumes as well. So yeah. The next costume is Reclusive Mr. Burns. This is the most recent costume. Basically, this is like a sort of isolated Mr. Burns, a hermit Mr. Burns, if you want, where he's gone a bit crazy, a bit mental. I mean, the tasks in it, like the animations and stuff, I actually kind of like it. The actual look of the costume's pretty cool, and the whole kind of quest line was pretty good as well. And it took me a bit to obviously have to look at it, and I've looked at this the most recently, so maybe that's why it's a bit higher, because I haven't really looked at the other costumes in terms of the quest lines anyway. But honestly, I would say it's a pretty cool costume, and I like it. Number 4 is the Softball Mr. Burns. Now, I've put this one there because obviously it is a part of the whole tap ball event, and you know, guys, I love the tap ball event. One of my personal favourites for it. So I mean, the actual Softball Mr. Burns, though, I mean, it wasn't amazing, but it was pretty cool to have. It's definitely an iconic costume that he's been wearing that he wears that quite a lot, that sort of outfit, and the tasks in it were pretty good. I mean, most of the sort of tap ball tasks, they're not amazing, but they are okay. The quest line, I don't really remember that much, but I do remember it a tad. It wasn't. I don't really read some of the quest lines. I tried to read some of them, but you know, sometimes if they are just really, really bland, I just don't bother. If the story's going nowhere. So honestly, I would say it's an okay quest line, but not amazing. Anyway, number 3 is actually the Fruit Batman. The Fruit Batman. You know, I like this, to be honest. This was like we got this as like a sort of promotion. I think it was an episode time, wasn't it? Costume, and it was free at first, and that was really, really cool. It was a really neat costume to have, something completely different. We never really had a superhero film before that, and Mr. Burns technically was the first superhero into Springfield, into Tapped Out, and I like that. The actual costume, I was actually really happy with it when I got it, and this is before I hacked or anything. The costume as a whole is really cool. Yeah, the tasks in it are really great, and of course it returned for the superhero update, which was always cool. So yeah. So number 2, I've gone with Count Burns. Now, Count Burns is obviously the vampire Mr. Burns, and this is actually it's his first costume. It was Mr. Burns' first ever costume, and it comes down. The reason I like it so much is just because the episode that the Count Burns thing was in was like such a memorable episode. You know, it was was it the first Halloween one? I'm pretty sure it was the very, very first Halloween. It was either the first or the second Halloween that the Mr. Burns vampire thing was in. To me, it was just the perfect thing to add in for Halloween, and the whole Mr. Burns costume, it was just a perfect fit. The quests in it, I mean, they're okay. The tasks, I like the tasks in it, definitely. However, for the I mean, I forget how much it was. I'm not too sure if it was free or not, but either way, I would definitely say that this is the second best costume. And then we come on to number 1. Most of you know what it is, but should we have that drum roll? That was a shit drum roll. It's the U.B.O. Costume, or the alien costume for Mr. Burns. Now, honestly, the episode that this comes out of for me is, I always say this, but it is one of my personal favourites. I mean, I do actually say quite a lot what episodes are my favourite. I really should do a top 10 sort of Simpsons episode, shouldn't I, just to kind of give my thoughts on it. But I'd have to actually, I don't know, I have to go back and watch some of the older episodes to actually do that. But, you know, I mean, I wouldn't say it's my favourite episode, but the episode that obviously comes from the U.B.O. Is a pretty cool one. You know, it's the one where Mr. Burns is... I actually don't remember too much, but I know it was Agent Scully and Agent I don't know what the heck the other name. The X-Files characters. And, yeah. And overall, I thought the costume, you know, itself is really cool. The tasks in it are really cool, and the quest line was one of the very rare quest lines I actually read, and I actually did thoroughly enjoy it. You know, I think it is one of the... It's probably, you know, it's one of the... I mean, I might go as far to say it is in the top 3. It's definitely in the top 3 for the top 3 costumes. I'm not going to say whereabouts in the top 3 it is, because that kind of spoils my top 10 costumes that will come soon. But, you know, I mean, overall, it is a... I was going to swear then. It is a really cool costume, and I love it so much. Now, guys, now what's gonna come next? I wonder. Right. So after now we've done with all the costume ranked things. It took me a while, but I've done them all, I think. But I am gonna be doing a Millhouse one, I think. Not too sure about that though. I'd have to go back. There may be some other characters I do. I'm still not sure. I think my rule is there has to be at least 5. Otherwise, I'm not going to bother. If there's 4 or less, I'm not going to bother. So I'll have to go back into the game and see what characters have what costumes. And if yeah, we'll have to see if you know, you'll see. I'll have probably another tapped out video into two or 3 days, unless there's an update in the next 24 hours or something. So thanks for watching as always, guys. It's been great. I really do enjoy doing these tapped out videos. I know they're not to the best of quality all the time, but they are really easy to do, and they're quite quick and easy to do for me. And I mean, if you've got any ideas for improving the video apart from recording, someone did ask me why don't I record. The reason I don't record is every other YouTuber who does tapped out records the game. Literally just records the game, places the building down, and like reads the tasks out. And it's like, you know, this is cool. Oh, look at this building, it's cool. I don't like that format personally. It's not my preferred format. The format I do for tapped out, I know I'm rambling on. You can go off if you don't want to hear my ramble. But the format I do for tapped out, you know, originally I probably would have started just recorded, but now that I can record, I was considering it, and then I thought, no, why don't I want to just follow the crowd? You know, I like the whole idea of taking screenshots and you know, kind of analysing it a bit more than just sort of playing the game, placing it down, and then just give my initial thoughts on it. I don't like that, you know. I like to put some thought into it, you know, have a look at the future stuff. You know, I sometimes like to talk about the future stuff on the wiki, and I like to show you pictures of it. Yeah, that's what I like to do. So, you know, that's the kind of like a better answer to the person who asked me why I just take screenshots. So anyway, guys, now I'm definitely going to wrap the video up. This is kind of way over. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.